my mortality.
So I obviously haven't posted for a couple days, and I think I'm going to probably post 3 different videos today, which are going to have very different vibes. Very, very, very different vibes. And the reason for that is the topic of discussion today. So, real quick, before I drive into the heavier side of this conversation, I do want to just kind of reflect on the lift we just did. We just did chest and weak points, which is, we did core and weak points, which is chest. So my chest isn't exactly as big as I want it to be, and it's one of those things that I do want to hit it twice a week and give it those 3 days of recovery and then hit it again. So that's my weak point, and it's important to hit your core, because if you don't have a nice six-pack, you don't have the, real cuts there, and you haven't really been working on it, then it's something that you need to do. Because at the end of the day, a six-pack isn't just going to be cooked in the kitchen. You do have to do a few crunches here and there, and you do have to, you do have to engage your core, and you do have to do stuff that makes a six-pack happen. So, yes, you do need to eat your protein, and if you really want to see them really well, then you're going to have to cut down. But as I'm bulking up, I do want to build a few more muscles there, and yeah, that's all. That's pretty much everything about the lift. So, good pump, good pose down, and basically, let me just dive into the rest of this. So, when I first started working out, there was a person in my life that I considered a best friend, that I considered a brother, and he encouraged me to get as big as I could. I mean, he gave me advice. I asked him how the military kind of goes about getting people in shape. He really gave me encouragement all the time, and we would talk a bunch about our goals in terms of health and fitness. But at the end of the day, you never really know what the fuck people are going through. And even if you talk to them quite often, sometimes the real shit doesn't come out. And I'm sorry for cussing so much, and it's just a rough time for me, because unfortunately, on February 19th, as far as I understand, he took his life. And I've been really messed up about it over the past couple days, and I've kind of been trying to decide what I'm going to do about posting and stuff like that, because it just didn't feel right at the time. Because a lot of what I post and a lot of what I try to put out there, I think about him, and I think about how he's going to react to it, and I always expect his fire emojis, or his you look cute today, boy, and shit like that, busting my chops. And then we would talk a little bit, and then it's just been really weird to think about posting and editing videos and stuff like that. I've still been recording, and I've still posted a few things, but you can see it in my face. Like, my eyes are swollen, I'm not smiling, and I'm not having a good time, and the lifts that I'm doing aren't exactly, my form isn't great. I'm throwing the weight around a little bit, and just kind of feeling the feels, But at the end of the day, you do have to process these things, and you do have to, try as you might to continue being healthy about the decisions you make and the choices you make. So, what I want to talk about is how maybe you could process loss if something like this happens to you. Because, when I got the news, it was from a close friend of ours, and he gave me a call, and I hadn't talked to this guy either in a long time. And, it was like I was really excited to hear from him, and then he was like, it's not a call like that, it's one of these type of calls. And I was like, what's going on? And he told me what happened, and I was in shock. I mean, at the end of the day, I was in a major amount of shock. And my buddy came over that lives here in Florida. He doesn't know the guy, and I don't know anybody here in Florida that really does, and I don't really have many. I don't have anybody but this one guy that really would be there for me when things like this happen. And he was there for me, so he came over and we talked about it a little bit, and he shared with me his experiences with similar things, and helped me to get to sleep with a little bit of weed. And I woke up the next morning and it hit me like a bus, and trying to process it while getting ready for work and trying to wake up, and it was rough. And so I hopped on my bike and tried to get to work, and over the course of the bike ride, I just started breaking down and talking to the ether and praying and thinking about reincarnation and everything in between, because I don't know what the hell happens after you die. And there's so many different beliefs out there, and some of them are really fucked up when it comes to suicide. So I don't know what is right, or who's got the right afterlife kind of dealy. But I decided that I was gonna kind of try to do everything I could, and if for some reason he was just around me or able to be around everybody, or just energy out there, I was talking to him, and that was where my grief process kind of really started. Like, I was definitely caught off guard, and after I got off the call with the person who let me know the news, I went to Snapchat, because I had sent him a Snapchat in response to something we had been, it was me hitting 2 plates on the leg press machine, which he was always, Sam, he had the best leg press. Even back in high school, he could max out any machine easy. He had legs and thighs that were powerful, and I was always jealous of that. And I have stick legs. I have little chicken legs that we everybody used to make fun of. And I mean, Sam was one of those people that at the end, he really was trying to encourage me and say that I was getting bigger in that department, which, whether that was true or not, he really was trying to give me a little bit of encouragement in that way. But where was I at? Anyway, I know where I was at. Because I was in shock and didn't really know what to do, I actually just tried calling him, and I tried to see if maybe it wasn't true, or maybe somebody would answer. And I don't know, but I did try to call him, and obviously that didn't work. So anyway, the next morning, I was past the denial stage. I was past denial, but I definitely was in bargaining, because that bike ride, I was bargaining with pretty much every religion that I could think of, and every religion that I knew of their afterlife situation. I was really hoping that something would happen, and that maybe I'd hear a a call that said that, well, he wasn't successful at what he did, and you know, maybe he was in the hospital and they were trying to figure something out to, I don't know, and that didn't happen either. And so every bike ride that I've had, except for this one right now, and I'm hoping that I can keep this up, I've broken down and started bawling and crying, and you know, just really trying to really feel the feels, you know, and try to get to the point where I was accepting of what's gone on and what's happened, but doing so is really hard without that closure. You know, it's really hard when you don't know why, you don't know how, you don't know the details just yet. It's really hard to kind of get to that acceptance point. But what I've learned over the past couple days is that if you take some time to remember the people who are gone, and you take time to really appreciate the existence that they had, and talk to them, you know, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's happening, you don't know the afterlife and all that good jazz. So, you know, part of it is acknowledging them directly and trying to, you know, give them at least some sort of talk that you didn't get to while they were still here, and trying to form the thoughts that are meaningful. Which, after I got the news, one thing that it really did help, was I reached out to all the friends that I knew we had in common. I reached out to people that had no connection to the situation, people that I met in Sacramento, people that I met in Florida, just people that I cared about, people that I loved, and I made sure that they had my phone number, because my phone number's changed so often. It's hard to keep everybody up to date on my new phone numbers and stuff, because my life's kind of a shit show. But at this point, I've realized how important that is, because me and Sam really only communicated over Snapchat for probably a good 6 years. And, you know, that communication only goes so far. You know, if he needed to call somebody, if he needed somebody to talk to, and he had tried to call everybody else, and then he tries to call me, he didn't have my number. So it would have gone to voicemail, whatever number he had, or maybe some other fucker picked up the phone, and maybe they didn't have the right fucking shit to say. And, you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure that the people I cared about that were still here had my number. And at that point, you know, I started to reconnect with people, talk with people. I had phone calls. I had, you know, people were there for me, and I assured them that I was there for them too. And I called, you know, a few different people to let them know the news, because I thought that it was important that people hear it instead of just see it. But if I couldn't get through to them, or if I didn't, I just made sure everybody had my number. And by doing so, the people came back into my life that I had not given the attention that they deserved. A few honorable mentions here. Brandon Dwinger, I'm really glad that we're talking again. And Carrie, I'm glad that we talk. And I'm glad that Brandon, we're talking again. Brandon Simmons, and I'm glad that, you know, the Gleveskises were the ones who called me and were the original people who, you know, gave me the news. And I'm glad that we're talking again, and that we're talking meaningfully. And, you know, I'm so glad that I have Dylan here in Florida. There's just so many people that came around when I needed them the most, and, you know, I'm really glad that I do have good friends and that they exist. I wish that they were closer, but I'm going to go up and see them here as soon as I can. I'm going to come see you guys. So remember to reach out. Remember to reach out to people who seem okay, that you maybe are talking with every now and then, and maybe they came into your lives and you really enjoyed them and you really care about them and maybe you love them, but right now you're just being casual. It's not worth it to be casual with the people that you love. It's not worth it. I'm telling you. That casual bullshit, it might be okay for a little bit. Like, you might be able to get by with, maybe they don't do what this dude did. Maybe they don't have as much shit going on. But it's still just not worth it to be casual with the people you love, man. It's not worth it to be casual with people that you care about. It is so worth it to tell them how much you love them and how much you care and how much they are worth it and how much they impacted your life, because Sam saved my life in Montana years and years ago. I was on the verge of throwing myself off a bridge as I said, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how he did it. I don't know why and all that good jazz. But when I was in Montana, there was a good few times, even before my girlfriend at the time had left me and all my shit in a Walmart parking lot, and I was alone in Montana with nobody to help me, and the only person that could have came to my rescue did, and that was Sam. He was going to the University of Montana at the time. He was an hour and a half away, and he dropped what he was doing, and he came and picked me up. He came and picked me up because he knew that I would have been going through it. And if he didn't, there's a good chance that my body would have been found somewhere in Glacier National Park. And he was the reason that didn't happen. He took me in his van for 7 days, and he got my old friends together, and they got me a Greyhound ticket back to Virginia. And he honestly saved my life. And I do wish that I could have been there for him when he needed somebody the most, and I wasn't, and I couldn't. So it is what it is, and I am still processing a lot of this, but at the end of the day, I should have been calling him, I should have been FaceTiming him, I should have been keeping in real contact, not just reacting to photos, not just saying, hey boy, not just doing the casual bullshit that everybody does. He was worth more than the casual shit. And the people that you love and the people that you care about are worth more than a casual conversation. I'm telling you right now, ask them how they're doing. Ask them what they're not talking about. Ask them what they're dealing with that they don't fucking tell people, so that maybe you can do something to help them feel a little better. Even if you can't save them from doing whatever they're going to choose to do, at least you could have given them something. Given them a little closure, given them a little support, told them how much people love them, so at least when they go, they knew that. Because, I'm not gonna harp on this too much longer. I just want to make sure that if you're listening to this and you've gotten to this point, that if you knew Sam, you don't stop talking about him. That if you have people that you love and if you have people that you care about, that you go past the casual conversations tonight, that you go past the casual shit and tell people that you love them. Make sure they know that you're there for them when you need them. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's really the most that you can do right now if you can't do anything else. So, I've been telling people that I don't have money, I don't have stuff, I have 2 suitcases worth of clothes and all my possessions. I just lost my job yesterday because I was late to work, and they're pretty hard asses there, and that makes sense. They're corporate, it's Planet Fitness, but they really didn't They didn't give me much slack, I tell you that much. And I didn't really want to make it, a huge thing and use the situation as a leverage point. So, it is what it is. So, basically, I don't have money, I don't have stuff, but I have time, and I'm going to use that time to make sure that people know that they are loved, they are cared about, and they are worthy of living this life until they have some happiness, some contentness, and that the hard times aren't going to last. They may last a while, but they're not going to last forever. And suicide is an answer to a temporary problem. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And just reach out to those that are sad, reach out to those that, you can tell are depressed, but also reach out to those that are really, really happy. Reach out to the people that are always down to do something. Because the people who are always down to do something, are always down to talk, always down to hang out, and seem to always be chipper, a lot of the times they're going through it because they need to distract themselves. And that's how they distract themselves, is by doing things that make them happy and being around people and not being with themselves. And the moment that they're by themselves and alone and without anybody to fucking say anything to them, that's when shit gets fucking rough. So, they may not talk about it, they may not tell you what's going on. You gotta ask. You got to. You just gotta get past the casual shit. And that's the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this. And as Sam has impacted so many people's lives, he continues to do so with things like bringing all of us back together and bringing my friends back to me and bringing me back to my friends. I just want to leave it with, life is too short, too precious to be casual with those you love and care about. I know I've said it a couple times and said it a couple different ways, but it's just not worth being casual with the ones you love and care about. Reach out, ask them how they're doing, and then ask them again. And ask them, how are you really, really doing, and what aren't you telling me? What aren't you telling other people? What aren't you telling the world that you think they can't handle to hear? Be the ear that they can tell. Don't judge them. Don't tell them that they don't need to feel that way. Don't tell them. Just be someone that's there, just to listen, to tell them that they're human, and that they're going to go through shit, and that you are there for them when they are going to go through that shit. So that's all I got today. You guys, I love you all 49 subscribers of you. And if you guys ever need anybody to, if you need somebody, if you need to hit somebody up, comment in this comment section. I hope that somebody can give you words of wisdom if I can't give them right away. But I will respond. I will respond to those comments if you do leave a comment. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, wonderful rest of your week. And I hope that if you have listened to this point, that you got something out of it, and that you enjoyed a little bit of the stories that I gave of Sam, because Sam was an amazing person. He was a freaking legend. He made everything a mission. He made everything fun. He made it seem important. And that was the kind of guy he was. He was an army man. He was dedicated to that, and he always has been and always was. And to the very end, I'm sure that people appreciated every moment that they got to spend with him. So I know I did. And I gotta just stop, because I could go on forever. All right. This is Jason, signing off.